So we've reached the business end of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019, and that is one reason why there is plenty of significance surrounding the England versus New Zealand game in Durham. The equation is simple. A win for either side will see them go through to the knockouts, whereas a loss for England, on the other hand, might give Pakistan a sniff to leapfrog them, provided they can beat Bangladesh. That said, let's focus a little bit about the match. England, New Zealand, a little bit of on the other end of the tunnel, you can say. England coming off a handsome 31-run victory over India, a much needed win considering how they were beginning to just look a little jaded in the mid half of the tournament. New Zealand, on the other hand, were unbeaten for such a long time, but a couple of back-to-back losses have kind of dented their confidence heading into the game. But that said, it's not really much of a surprise because you need to have that one game, to probably just give you a view of how everything is turning out to be. You need that wake-up call, and for a long time, like I said, New Zealand couldn't think to be doing anything wrong, but those two defeats have kind of just given them an idea about the little areas where they probably have to work upon. Speaking of those, the batting remains a concern, I would say, because for the entire of the tournament, they've been heavily dependent on Kane Williamson, Ross Taylor, but apart from those two batsmen, the remaining few are a bit of a concern here because Martin Gupton hasn't really fired apart from that one half century earlier in the tournament. For the second slot, there's been a little bit of a chop and change, you can say, between Colin Munro and Henry Nicholls. Nicholls coming into the previous game, but probably it was just a bad day considering how strong an Australian bowling attack is. But yeah, that does not take away from the fact that New Zealand do have a few concerns in the batting lineup, and the rest of the batsmen, especially Tom Latham, Colin de Granholm, who haven't really averaged much in the tournament, need to fire against a formidable bowling attack like England. England, on the other hand, coming off a strong 31-run win, scoring all those runs against the Indian spinners. That is just the kind of performance you need for a team like England to just recover from that little blip they must have suffered. But yeah, for England, how do you keep out a team like England who have dished out a complete performance and would want to continue that juggernaut against New Zealand as well? The strength, of course, was Johnny Bairstow and Jason Roy coming back to the top of the order. And Eoin Morgan said that it was wonderful to see somebody like Bairstow with a fire in his belly, in his words, to give out that sort of a performance just when the team required him to. In terms of team changes, not much needs to be considered as far as England are concerned. They're pretty much there with the bowlers doing a fantastic job. Liam Plunkett getting those 3 wickets, Chris Wokes getting those 2 wickets, and more importantly, stifling India's batting in that first 10-over period. Although the surface here is a little different to the one used in Edgbaston the other day. It looks a little dry, so it might not be a bad idea to bring in Moeen Ali and also have Adil Rashid operating from both ends, and probably drop a pace bowler or a batsman. That depends on the management, of course, but yeah, the surface looks a lot dry. And just behind me, a little while earlier, Ish Sodhi was practicing, so that is and also he was supported by Mitchell Sanders, so that can probably be a hint that that New Zealand might go with 2 spin options. All right then, so England versus New Zealand, not only is the game important for these two sides, but also might have a bearing for the other teams as well.